It was one of those Sundays when the morning sun fell through the stained glass windows of the church, as if the light itself carried a message. The colors red, blue, and gold cast patterns on the wooden pews of the people who listened in silence. Jude was sitting in the third row from the front. Beside him sat Mary, his wife, her hands rested quietly in her lap. But Jude knew her well enough to see that she was tired. On her other side sat their daughter Sammy, who tapped her feet gently against the sofa in front of her as she tried to remain still. In her hands she held her little red teddy bear. It was small, a little worn, with one eye that was looser than before. She had taken it everywhere with her since she was 3. Sometimes she talked to it, sometimes she squeezed it tightly when she felt uncomfortable. Today it sat on her lap, its black beady eyes staring at the pulpit, as if it were listening too. The preacher stood at the front of the pulpit. His voice sounded calm, carried by the silence of the church. "For the ways of a man are open before the eyes of the Lord," he said, as he slowly looked through his Bible. "He weighs all his paths." He looked around the church. That is in Proverbs 5, verse 21. A few people nodded. The pastor leaned slightly on the edge of the pulpit. We often think that no one sees what we do, that our choices remain hidden, but Scripture says otherwise. God sees not only our deeds, He sees our ways, our paths, the direction in which our heart walks. Jude looked at the wooden floor. The words touched him in a strange way, not because he had done anything wrong, but because he knew how complicated a human life could be. The predecessor continued. The question is not just, what are you doing today? The question is, where does your path ultimately lead? Sammy leaned against Mary and pressed the little bear closer to herself. "How much longer?" she whispered. Mary smiled. "Almost done."